So hi everybody, and for the first part of our season debrief, I'm going to be talking to the key people from the EASA GA roadmap. Maybe we ask them to introduce themselves first, so Boudewijn, maybe you can go first.
Yeah, okay, thank you, John. So I'm Boudewijn and Dominique, I'm Dutch. I'm the project manager of the GA roadmap, which is a project trying to make the European regulations more proportionate for general aviation. And I think we've achieved quite a lot. And this activity from you, sharing information, is really a good asset. And I think I'll hand over to my teammate Dominique, part of the GA roadmap team.
Thank you, Boudewijn. So my name is Dominique Roland. I'm a champion for the General Aviation Roadmap project. So I'm working in a close relationship with Boudewijn since many years on this. I'm also head of the product, head of CT5 department, so for taking care about policy, innovation and knowledge. And I'm still an active pilot doing a flight test on the low end or general aviation aircraft at EASA. And I'm also very happy to contribute to the end of the season summary report today.
And I think maybe a good place to start is the season opener that we had back in March this year. And you know, we had a whole morning covering lots of really important topics, and I think it's that we set that initial scene, and hopefully that's given the challenges we had of the previous year with less flying with COVID, a very quiet winter. Hopefully I think that set quite a good tone for this collaborative discussion and really positive activities over this summer flying season. I think. From your side, what was your view on the season opener?
Well, first a slight correction. It was April.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, 28 and 29. And it was the first time ever that we organized something like that at the EASA. And we really took advantage of the experience that Auster Control has, who has season openers for 13, 14 years, I think, already. So we piggybacked on their experience, and so it was the first time sharing all kind of information, really aiming at the launch of a very new, a very strange season. So we were focusing on getting yourself ready, getting your aircraft ready, refreshing some of the skills, and we had a 2-day season opener. And compared to what we are planning today, it's of course only a very short exchange of information we can do today. But I think what we learned in that season opener is we as EASA can play a role in connecting people. We don't have the expertise, we need to find the right people to talk about topics and exchange information. And I hope that season opener, as well as this kind of season closure event, is inspiring others to organize something similar. The national aviation authorities, as well as clubs or whoever wants to share information. I think it's vital. And our role, primarily in developing rules, is sometimes a bit far from the operational scene. But I think we can contribute with our helicopter view on what's happening in Europe these days.
What about you, Dominique? How can you reflect on the season opener and the things that we've done this year?
So first, I of course fully agree with the comments made by Boudewijn. One of the difficulties that we are facing, one of the many challenges, is the way we are organized in Europe. And EASA can certainly take a coordination role, but we will not go very far if we don't have a strong support from the national authorities and the national association, so all the community. I believe what we have understood here at EASA is that general aviation in Europe is fairly national. We have different culture, we have different languages, we have different ways to manage airspace, safety. The situation is very different all across Europe, but everywhere the example given by Austro Control with the season opener is, I believe, relevant and should be expanded, so that in all countries we have initiatives like this one probably led by the National Aviation Authority to organize this kind of meeting at the beginning of the season, at the end of the season.
And certainly, it kind of leads on quite nicely to the importance of reflecting as a pilot how we can improve what we've learned, and this kind of continual learning and building skills. And certainly you've done quite a lot of flying this year, Dominique. Are there any kind of key reflections you have on some of the flying you've done this year?
Well,
you only have 5 minutes, Dominique.
Yeah. I'm not very satisfied with my flying experience this year. I got all kind of problems, which are just showing to me that GA is not, generally speaking, treated properly, and we still have big efforts to do to improve that. We are not commercial air transport. GA is specific and need a specific treatment. What we expect, for example, from the Flight Information Service or the ATC is a service. We are not comparable to an airline or to a crew flying an A320 on a regular basis. So the GA pilot needs specific attention at all levels, and one size cannot fit all. And I'm afraid that we are not there yet. So yes, I have ideas about what could be improved in the future, and there are plenty of things that could be changed. Unfortunately, it's difficult because it's related to mindset of people, cultural changes, and we all know that this kind of issue is taking a lot of time to change.
And from your
Still,
side,
I believe, Dominique, that sorry to interrupt, John, but I think it's important that people become aware of these issues, and that's where I think we can play a role to, and like with this event, make sure things are in the open and people are sharing that information, because otherwise we might have quite a number of frustrated pilots and nothing is changing. So when we put it on the agenda, we at least start a discussion on is this normal or should we change something?
And I think that's a good example of what we've got coming up through the rest of the debrief, with where I'm interviewing a number of pilots on their experiences this year, and there's all sorts of different lessons come out. And it's that continual discussion, I think, that's really important. Is, as you say, Boudewijn, is this normal? How can we do this better as a system, not just as individuals? I think, as you say, that's the key role that we can play from an EASA perspective, is to highlight these key topics and discuss them with the wide range of stakeholders that we have in the system.
And when I think about the environment, of course, there are many things that I would like to improve to facilitate the flights for GA pilot. But also I have, and I believe all of us, all pilots, PPL or even CPL, but people engaged in recreational activities and flying all along the year, not a lot, flying maybe 25 to 30 hours a year. We should also reflect on all the mistakes we have done. I did a number of mistakes. I'm not very proud of it, but it's a fact. I'm human, and from time to time I make a mistake. And then I will take the opportunity of the winter season to think about it and say, okay, how could I improve my performance? How could I avoid to make this stupid mistake? And what kind of process can I implement myself? Could be, yes, we talk a lot about training. I will, of course, fly with instructors, and I can learn something. But you can learn a lot by yourself. Just considering your own mistake and doing an honest analysis of the root cause. Why this happened? What was? And you always see that there is always a succession of small events, and you need the Swiss cheese picture where you go through all the safety barriers. Here it's the same. There is a succession of small events, and altogether this is making a mistake, and the mistake could have a consequence. And then how we can address that? I believe that each and every pilot should have this reflection.
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing. And I think actually I don't think I could have ended this little introduction with a better statement than saying that everybody should have that reflection as an individual, and the more we can have that together with each other as well as a community, I think it's really good. Are there any last things you'd like to say, either of you, before we carry on with the rest of the debrief?
Yeah, maybe just that no one is intentionally getting himself or herself into trouble. It's awareness, and as Dominique says, reflecting on your own behavior, small mistakes, big mistakes, can help you to be aware of the threats that you have within your own system. So I really wish you a good interview with the other pilots that inspires others to think about how they fly themselves.
Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for your time, both of you, and have a great weekend. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, John. Bye-bye.